I've never seen this elaborate of a lie be told on a reality TV show, and it's continuing to go on. And it's very disturbing. Here it is. This is Tyler with his two little daughters and his son, Cairo. And what we were told in the reunion is similar to the story that we've been told all along that Tyler was a sperm donor and he helped his friend who was married to a lesbian couple. His friend is married to a girl named Deshawn. So Brittany and Deshawn are a couple, and they wanted to have a family, and Tyler offered to help out. So that's where it was left, that he was a sperm donor. He helped out a friend, and she said on the show, she asked him, "Do they know what you look like? Who are these kids?" I mean, I'm just trying to imagine from her perspective. You're engaged, you're in DC, you're living with the guy. You find out that there are 3 children that are his, but he was a sperm donor, so they're being raised by these 2 women. Okay, I could see where that would be a lot to process, but it would feel like I remember when I first heard it, I thought, okay, well, so what? You're a sperm donor. I mean, it's not like he's fathering the children. It's not like he's involved in their lives. I mean, people do this. People donate eggs too. And, the egg donor isn't responsible for the children. That's how it works, right? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? I don't know how to look at Ashley right now. I really don't, because she said at the reunion, "Don't you think I know the inside story? Don't you think I know what's going on?" But right after she said that, she explained that Tyler donated sperm to a lesbian couple. And when the lesbian couple broke up, he got a little too involved with the 3 kids in trying to help them out, and he's such a good guy. And, he just overextended himself because he felt so bad, and he understood what it's like for a single mom because his mom was a single mother and he watched her struggle. And so he just felt so bad for Brittany, and he wanted to help her raise those kids. And then this opportunity for Love is Blind came up, and he had to leave. And so she was there taking care of the kids alone, but he needed to move on with his life. And he feels really bad because he used to spend holidays there. And, he spends holidays with all of his friends. And so Tyler is just, it's really tough. And a lot of people don't get it. Us, we don't get it. And so, people just don't know how to deal with things they don't understand. So not only are we being lied to again, but we're getting a lecture. I didn't appreciate that. Guess what? None of these babies are sperm babies. They were all naturally conceived. If you listen to both the mother of these children and her ex-wife, there is a backstory about Tyler that is so in depth, but he was not just helping out his friend. He was having sex with a woman who clearly is bisexual, which Deshawn, her wife, was realizing that she wasn't the gold star lesbian she thought she was. I learned what gold star lesbian means. You've never been with men. And it was heartbreaking for her to be married to a woman, seeing her be attracted to a man, and then, oh, wait, she's choosing this guy that she's attracted to, and that's the guy she wants to be the father of her kids. So as I was listening to her tell the story, and even Brittany, it just looks to me that Brittany was maybe in love with Tyler, and as she advanced in her pregnancy, Deshawn just kind of felt like she felt left out. She felt like they were spending all this time together. All of a sudden, Tyler was over at the house more. But the thing about that is, it's like, it would be one thing if he was just involved because she was pregnant and, maybe it was complicated, but he was engaged to another woman. And she didn't know that Brittany was pregnant with Tyler's baby. And Tyler invited her to the baby shower. So if that's not crazy enough, you notice that there's not just one kid here. There are 3. So all of a sudden, Brittany gets pregnant again with twins. And Tyler was there. He cut the umbilical cord. Deshawn was completely out of the picture. So now Tyler is living with Brittany and these 3 kids. And I don't know if you can see these captions, but they say things like, "These girls gonna walk all over me. Look how cute they are." And I don't know if I can zoom that in, but then it says, um, I think it says, "Destined for great things, young king." And this is baby Cairo. And these are the little twins. And does he look like a sperm donor? Are these sperm? These are the children he was calling sperm babies. And on national television, he said, "They don't know what I look like." Oh, really? And then this whole Facebook page got deleted when he realized that he had found Ashley on Love is Blind, because he left. Just imagine, he's a father doing all these things with the mother of his children. He is not helping out a lesbian couple. They never did do any kind of artificial insemination either. They were all naturally conceived. So Tyler and Brittany had sex and had kids. And although she's a lesbian, that doesn't matter. But that seems to be the thing that everybody is giving him a pass for. So I guess if you want to be a deadbeat dad, all you have to do is just add a lesbian to the picture. I mean, it's just like, I'm sorry, but Deshawn has nothing to do with this. She was heartbroken because she wanted to have a family with Brittany. And then she felt like a third wheel because Brittany wanted to be with Tyler, even though Tyler didn't. It's like she felt like this third wheel, but Tyler wasn't even in a romantic relationship. So it was just this huge mess. But at the end, they were living together with 3 children. And then Tyler gets an opportunity to go on Love is Blind. And he gets to have this experience, which Brittany supported because she didn't expect him to be in a relationship with her. But he was helping her with the children. He's on the birth certificate. These kids have his last name. But I guess if you go on a reality TV show and you meet somebody new, that you can just abandon your kids. So this is what Ashley thinks that we don't understand. And I don't know, but I'm not confused. Are you confused? Because I look at things that say my gang and these girls are going to walk all over me. That seems like a dad that loves his kids, doesn't it? And now they're just kids that he spent holidays with occasionally. I mean, I could go on and on about how infuriating this is. And I'm so mad at the internet because people are just, one person said, sounds like a lesbian that lost the dad of her kids and is crying about it or something. It was just like, no, I don't care that she's a lesbian. That doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. These are his children. So when the Love is Blind reunion comes out and Tyler's paraded out with his beautiful bride, Ashley, I'm sitting here like, what is going on? So I was really mad. Too mad. I know, it's like, call Wendy Williams and Jerry Springer. I'm happy to be on and discuss this with a very animated. I could get really animated about this. But then I started thinking, what does Ashley know? Or what does she think she knows? Because you know how it is when you're with a guy and he tells you a story. If she never talked to Brittany or Deshawn, then did she just spend the whole last year thinking what he's told her is true? Does she even know what we know? Maybe, but she's telling us in the reunion, "Don't you think I know?" And I'm thinking, I don't know. Do you? Because if you know what I know, then what are you doing? But there were clues, and I want to show you these. All right, so here's where they dig into this story. Now, if you've watched it, you've already seen this, but I want to take you through where this is Tyler explaining what's happening or what happens. Like they know they need to address this because when filming or when the season ended, there's a break between that and the reunion. And so people know your identity. That's when they started to become famous. I wish I would have been more invested right when the show was coming out because I probably would have been up to speed sooner and I would have been able to tell you guys, oh, wait, there's this Tyler story, but I found out later. But I put myself in Ashley's shoes and I thought, okay, if you've had this blissful year, you thought that he literally was a sperm donor and did a good thing and helped out Brittany and Deshaun. And, you know, unfortunately, Deshaun left, but Brittany has those 3 kids. Like, I don't know what he told her, but whatever he told her was good enough for her to move forward. And then he never saw his kids again. He never went back. He still hasn't seen his children. I just, I cannot get over that, and I get really infuriated because I think, who does that? How do you watch the first expressions on their face? How do you feed them and change their diaper and care for all their needs and then be like, "Oh wait, Love is Blind's calling. I got to go. See you later. Hey, I met Ashley, so it was nice being your dad and everything. But since your mom's a lesbian, I'm just going to go ahead and bail and start a new life without you." Even though I talked about kids and memories and holidays and all the stuff that I wanted to have, not with you. Peace out. It's just, I'm sorry. I have gone over and over this, and I just cannot make, there's no angle this works. But I don't want to, I feel like I'm abandoning Ashley because I know everybody is like, "What are you doing?" And I am asking that. What are you doing? But I also thought, wait a minute. She didn't know for a year. What if he didn't tell her? What has she known for a year? What is the story she was told? Did she think a sperm donor for 11 months? Is she just learning the reality in the last 30 days? Because Deshaun and Brittany are very low key, non attention seeking, private people. And so I don't think they've said anything until recently. So if I think of it that way, I think Brittany has the benefit, or I'm sorry, Ashley has the benefit of the doubt. She didn't know about the fiance going to Brittany's baby shower. She didn't know about the sex parties. She didn't know that he had had actual sex with her and conceived all 3 children. Did she know he was on the birth certificate? Did she know he cut the umbilical cord? Did she know he was living with her? Did she know he was living with her all the way up until he left for the show? Did she know that his whole Facebook page was full of photos of his children and him with his children, and that his mother was saying, "These are my grandchildren"? That I question. I can see him keeping it hidden, but if she's spending time with his family, did they all just decide, don't talk to Ashley about it? Or did she find a way to, like, how is she at peace? Whoops, I'm knocking things over. How is she at peace with this? Or is she in that weird place where she's not at peace and she's just trying to enjoy the ride of being on a show and finding her love? Because I think what could have happened too is that he's just been on his best behavior. He left his kids, but she didn't know that. So they've lived a life for a year. And then not only do you become famous overnight, but you also are on a reality show and there's pressure to be the perfect couple. And if you look at their Instagrams, they're just full of the photos and they're doing podcast interviews as the happy couple. And nobody is asking about the kids. I just find it really difficult. And no matter what angle I look at it, the kids are still innocent. The kids are innocent no matter who's to blame. I don't care if the lesbians are crazy. It doesn't matter. Those kids are the priority and should be the focus, and there should have been, they just need to do the right thing. You know what I mean? You guys tell me, what is the right thing? I don't see anybody else offering a great solution, by the way. But I do see like major podcasters just completely avoiding this topic entirely. So maybe they have an agreement. I'll do an interview with you, but we're not going to go here and discuss this. I also thought about Ashley too. Like, if I was finding that all out when the show was coming out, would I want to sit at the reunion with millions of viewers and hash out that I am just learning about my husband's baby mama drama with his lesbian couple, that he wasn't actually a sperm donor? Do I want to expose my reputation and my entire, like, I don't know that I would risk all of that either, or that I would say, look, this isn't the place I want to do this. I'm just going to move forward with the reunion and we'll figure it out. That's kind of what I hoped, because I saw videos with her not wearing a ring, but she was just at a football game with Tyler and some of the other people from the show, and it just looks like they're having a great time. But I know it can look that way and be different. So I am hoping and praying that Ashley can figure out that this guy is a liar and that there is so much she doesn't know and that he's not who he says he is. And you might say people can change, but there are court documents, and apparently he owes her $9,000 of child support, because you can't just leave because you went to reality TV. The judge will tell you you owe. And I guess he owes other people money too, other women that he there's one story where even when he was in DC, when he was still filming the show, he asked a girl, I guess there's a text thread where he asked her if he could stay overnight at her place and sleep on her couch. And when I heard that, I thought maybe that was the day that she found out about the kids. Maybe he told her the whole story and maybe they had a big fight. She kicked him out. He needed a place to sleep for the night. I don't know. That's just like a theory. But if the timing lined up with the week that they were in DC and that conversation. And so when I look at how this unfolded on the show, he says, okay, they say everybody was shocked when you revealed that you had donated sperm. So here they are agreeing to the lie because he did not donate his sperm. Well, I mean, he did, but he did it personally. He did not do it the way we think about donating sperm. And there has been a lot of chatter about your involvement in these children's lives. So everybody's sitting there tense. I think a lot of them know. And it being more than you had intentionally led on. So can you clarify what's going on with that? So they asked, and he said, absolutely. Those kids, that family, they did not sign up for this. Who's that? Who's that family? That family? So right away, look, I just feel like this is his liar face. It's your family, Tyler, not that family. I'll move on. I know I'm immature right now, but I'm so, no matter how many times I record this, I'm just as angry. So what is happening now? Oh, their birth certificates are online. Interesting. Things that shouldn't be happening are now happening. And to get into the whole story, I did help a friend and her wife start a family. Okay. But her wife ended up leaving her high and dry. Not true. She found out you had sex with her and got her pregnant. And she eventually left, but she didn't leave her high and dry. In fact, she felt like it was best for their son because it was confusing having her in the picture. You just got to hear her whole story. So I stepped in voluntarily and I helped. So it's like, okay, that sounds good. So you see the pictures. So those pictures that I showed you, that's him stepping in and voluntarily helping, saying the girls are going to walk all over me. Great things are destined for this young king. You having your moments. Fun fact about Tyler. Deshawn said that Brittany, the mother, would complain to her that Tyler was only around for the social media moments. That even when he was there for her, he seemed to only really be there when there was a photo opportunity. So just kind of a fun fact. So yeah, we do see the pictures of your Instagram and Facebook moments. I spent the holidays with all my friends, all their kids. So these aren't my kids. These are their kids. And so, and I played a part, and that became very shaky with a friend because you were having sex with her. That's the shaky part, while you were also engaged and having sex parties. But, and there's no rule books to this. I mean, actually there are some set lines. You just cross them. And, I do want to let people know, Ashley knows all of this. This is news to the world, but it's never been news to us. And I'm giving this explanation now. Okay. So it's just not enough. Like, I feel like Vanessa knows, and Nick's like giving that, I don't want to get involved in anything weird, but I feel like Vanessa knows the story. He goes, but I feel like the world is waiting for it. but I don't owe an explanation. So the fact that if the world is waiting for an explanation and the explanation is so good and you did this nice thing and you were helping out a friend, then what explanation? This is the explanation, right, Tyler? What else should we know? What is it that you think you owe us that we're so nosy about? Come on. So Ashley's sitting here with me, and she's going to tell her side. So everybody's trying to be supportive because they want to believe him, right? Oh, let's clap for the child abandoner. Okay. So I can't hate Ashley yet. I want to hate her because I'm so mad about the kids, but I know so many women that go through this, and you're like, I've been standing by this man for a year. I don't know what she's been through. I don't know the, the mind F that she's been through. And I feel like I'm not even a good coach or a good girl to girl. She just seems like a girl's girl. And so I just feel like let's give her time to let everything die down from Love is Blind and see what she does, right? Not that I'm going to be monitoring her behavior, although maybe I will be. But it's heartbreaking to think of little kids who will get a little bit older, Google their dad, and literally, can you imagine you grow up and you find out your dad was on a reality TV show, and you remember, or you have pictures of him when you were a little kid, and then like from that point forward he went on a TV show and then never came back. Like, this is a tragic story for these kids. And just because their mom had a lesbian wife, like, it's like, it's so weird to me that this seems like a valid excuse. So he says, I'm not going to keep harping on it. And then, look at, this is Marissa's mom holding Ashley's mom's hand. And she goes, it's funny. Everyone kept saying, I said, a lot in the pods. This is Ashley talking, but not today. I have some things to say. Okay. So what do you have to say? So starting with, who do you think has better insight, me or the internet? Well, the internet has birth certificates and photos and documentation of two other sides to the story. So the kids are who they are. There really isn't a mystery to solve. But she's telling us, I know what's going on. Don't insult my intelligence because I wasn't blindsided. I know. So that's number one. Okay, Ashley. So what else then? And she said this is something he never wanted to share on camera. This is the weird thing about this. He didn't want to share it on camera. Well, I mean, I can see why. But in this dialogue, she says, you know what? I feel like that would have been weird. People would have looked at my face and seen my expressions because I can't hide my facial expressions. And I thought, that's weird too. She goes, I think there would have been a disconnect and viewers would have noticed. How would we have noticed? We never would have known about these kids. We wouldn't have noticed anything. Or maybe we just would have noticed you were off. But you know what I mean? Like, I guess maybe it was bothering her so bad that that's what she's saying. But if I'm honest and I'm her, I'm thinking, I'm not going to let you tell me this and then let this story unfold without this getting documented. So you're going to tell me in front of the cameras what you just told me. So the conversation we saw was planned. So she already knew. So then it's like, okay, so then you guys were acting during that scene. They were acting. So she claims she did that because people would notice that her facial expressions were weird. And there were things that he wasn't comfortable sharing and things that I'm sure there were some things he wasn't comfortable sharing. So I'm either like, Ashley, did you get the whole story and you still move forward? Or did you get some version of the story, a lie, and that's why you move forward? She said, one time I asked him, do they know what you look like? And he's like, oh, I don't think so. So there's more lies. This face he has, you guys, it's just so telling to me. Like, if you've been around a liar, let me give it, let's just go full screen. This face is terrified. He is like so nervous while this story is being told. And I mean, I can understand why. So then it goes on. So she asked him, "Do the kids know what you look like?" And he's like, "I don't think so." He was he was trying to lie, ha, 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 trying to lie about those kids not knowing what he looks like when he was taking pictures of them on Facebook and being their father. And anyway, sorry, I just want to rant every time. And so, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? No, it's not. So of course he divulged that information. What information? That information still so that information is, yes, he does, they do know what he looks like because he spent time with them. So she goes, "I'm so sorry. Let me say he was trying to lie for the cameras, but you guys had already had that conversation. The thing is, we weren't there for a couple of other things we're going to get to later." This is Vanessa talking. So they get back into it. She goes, "But you guys had this conversation, and I see that the next day for the cameras and trying to clarify to protect him and these children. So they lied to the camera to protect the children." It's like, this story is weird because if you were going to be authentic for the cameras, then you would say, "Yes, I know what they look like." Instead, he said no. So that's the narrative they wanted for the rest of the show, that I was a sperm donor and no, they don't know what I look like. But in reality, he told her the true story. Do you see what I mean? It's like, I don't understand why we're lying for cameras. It just, this is weird to me. And so then they go on, and she said, "The thing is, the thing we didn't want to happen happened. And the thing with humanity," so now you and I were humanity, "we have a hard time." This is what we have a hard time with. "We have a hard time understanding things that we don't get." So we don't get this. We don't get abandoning your children for a reality TV show. This is what we're struggling with here on the outside. Anything that's taboo or outside our norm. Is this what this is? I mean, I think some taboo things might be, or outside the norm, like maybe some sex parties while you're engaged. Maybe that's outside. Oh wait, that's Tyler again. I'm sorry. Anyway, so and what's exactly happened, and that's exactly what's happening. And instead of trying to rationalize, like, maybe this was hard to navigate. Like, maybe this was hard to navigate, right? So it was hard for Tyler to navigate being there for his friend who was having children. Wait, he wasn't there for his friend. He was living with her and had 2 more kids with her. I mean, it's like, do you see how this is just such a weird story? And I just know Tyler and his heart and what it had to be like. We had to be so hard to navigate with a friend, way easier when you're removed, and with him growing up in a single parent household, he is like, I feel like maybe there's hope for him, because I think he literally could throw up during this conversation, because he has 3 babies that will watch him. They will watch this conversation. I just picture, I'm his kid, I'm watching him. It's like, I would be so annoyed at her. Like, who's this chick that gets to decide that she's now more important than all of us? That's what those kids will say when they grow up. And especially since he grew up in a single parent household, it's even more so that he should at least be there in some capacity. I'm not saying he needs to go live with her and be there, but, be a father, take proper care, have visitation. And, that's something that Ashley would have to deal with. I think that's the reality that she doesn't understand and can't normalize. Here I am getting mad at her again. And in that scenario, what happened with the divorce, we're talking about Brittany and Deshaun, it was very hard for him to remove himself. He didn't have to remove himself. Well, I guess he removed himself when he went on Love is Blind, if that's what we're talking about. And now this is a single mom, right? Yes, it is. It's a single mom and he's the father. So that was hard for him. And now he's the victim. Oh, poor Tyler. Was it really hard to give up all that responsibility and just go leave Brittany with 3 children to raise on her own so you could go have fun on reality TV and be in the pods and go on podcasts and talk to Nick Vial and, be on E! Entertainment? It was really hard. So hard for him because he's such a good person. Oh, poor Tyler. Let's pat him on the knee. And, he went in a little too deep and he didn't know what to do. And so then he says, this is not a game. Well, thank you for the clarification, Tyler. I'm glad you're letting us know that this is not a game. This is till death do us part. Yeah, because he's a really committed guy. You know, when he has a relationship with somebody, like, you know, once he's in, you know, unless you're his biological child. Um, so, but then this is a reveal too. We've seen all the get an annulment, be done with him. So clearly that tells me the story was out and everyone told her, leave him. This is ridiculous. Smart people she had around her. I guarantee you one of those people was her mother over there. And she says, it's like, look, you know, I said I do, and I do to all of it. I was aware what I took on, and this is a once in a lifetime kind of love. This is a rarity, and it's something worth risking anything for. And I'm not saying do something crazy, which this is. Let's not get nuts, but you know, this is something that I knew. And of course, if I listen to the public, I could go find a man, but this is something I'll never find again. So she's talked herself into, this is my one and only, and I'm going to accept this reality. So I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's really disturbing. And so I feel guilty even for having people watch this show. I was like, yeah, watch this show. I'm doing analysis on YouTube. It'll be so fun. And usually there's like love triangles and weird dynamics like Leo and Brittany and whatever. But this is beyond, beyond. So here we are. We finally wrapped this up and it's just like, you know, thanks for giving us all the feels and it's just like, oh, we're the happy couple and it's all so great. And well, guys, we know it's a sensitive subject. We truly appreciate the insight. So they gave an answer. I guess they're just saying we know what it is. We're moving forward and we know people don't understand, but this is our business, not yours. True. So the purpose of this is to help you never be in this situation yourself and to be able to spot a Tyler before you learn about his 3 kids. You know, you don't want to be in a situation where you are weeks, months in, and then you're trying to take that in, and then you don't know if you're taking in parts of the truth or the whole truth, and it can rob so much of your life. Because when I look at Ashley, I see a good person. And I think at some point, the fame will go away. The high from the show will fade. And then she will then see more reality, more of who he really is, his character. And eventually it will, this is how it always happens, right? The truth will come out. And when it does, it's going to hit her in, I don't know what kind of way. Maybe maybe it'll happen when the kids get a little bit older or the courts make demands. Something's going to give her a wake up call that pops this fantasy bubble that's created by being in this show. And that's unfortunate because I don't want that for her. I would have much preferred she got out way before she invested all this time because I know she wants kids for herself. And when I think about girls like this who have precious fertility years and you don't want to be investing your time in men that are going to deceive you and take away precious experiences like engagements or weddings or meeting your family. Those things, those moments, that time should be reserved for the people that are truly worth it, for the guy that's truly worth it. And that's what I want for you. And I want you to be able to recognize these behaviors and also not think that you have to be that forgiving. Because I think maybe that's what I don't like about this show, because it leaves the impression, or it's as if they're saying, you know what? This is what you do. If you find the true love, you stand by him because a love like this comes along once in a lifetime. No, it doesn't. You can find, I know you may not believe me now, but there are great guys out there There's not just one person. If something happens, you can find love again. And you do not have to stay with somebody because of a perfect romance, because romance comes and goes. Your connection, your bond, your friendship, the trust. I mean, the fact that that foundation of trust has been, it's like if they had a house with a foundation, there's cracks and there are parts that are built on sand. She's not stable with him. She's not secure. She is not safe. And that's a problem. And it will eventually erode, and they will not make it, because he was not the man he needed to be when he arrived, and he's still not the man he needs to be, because until he takes responsibility for his children, he's still walking around in a fantasy, doing podcast interviews and television spots, and living in a false reality that is created by a TV show. Funny, a reality TV show. Creating a false reality with a reality TV show. All right, so I'm going to move on from Tyler and Ashley. You hear how I feel, but I think that there are some pieces of this show that needed to really be addressed, because I know no one's talking about it like this. That my take might be different than everybody else's. I get it, but that's what I'm here for, because nobody, I mean, I shouldn't say nobody's saying it. There's a lot of people saying what I'm saying. There's a lot of people saying that that this is wrong a lot. She's getting blown up in her comments. Uh, she got a lot of hate messages. So don't leave her any hate messages. I think she gets it. But you know how it is when we're standing by our man and we're trying to deny what we know, and she's having fun and she's getting a lot of encouragement. And, you know, I don't know, maybe let her have fun in this bubble, but I just feel like she's such a smart girl. There's that sick feeling that's underneath, and I hate that for her. But let's just pray that because I know she's a woman of faith too. So we'll pray that she's able to see the truth, that the scales come off of her eyes and she's able to see Tyler for who he really is, so that she can actually be with a man who's worthy of her. And that's my hope. I hope that clarifies everything. Let me know if you have other questions. If you're like, yeah, Melissa, what about this or what about that? Because every time I do this, I think of something different that I want to cover. And then I'm like, oh, it's never ending, right? It's never ending. But the whole purpose, again, is just to keep looking at, okay, what did she miss? What is a relationship where I missed some of those things? And where did I question myself? And maybe I can relook at that and say, yeah, I've been beating myself up in this area. Or maybe a guy said something to you that you have forever changed about yourself. And maybe you need to bring those pieces back, because when you're with a guy, like when I think about Ashley with Tyler, I mean, how much did she change? How much of Ashley is lost because she's morphing herself into being with this guy? And we do lose pieces of ourselves in this relation or in these relationships. And I want you to be encouraged to bring it all back in. You are not too much. In fact, there are probably just, I have a new visual. We are all like a mosaic, and there are pieces of your mosaic that might be missing, parts of your personality, interests that you haven't discovered, things that will then light up all of those pieces of a mosaic that turn into like the kaleidoscope of interests and colors and patterns and designs. You are such a unique being. There is nobody else like you. And when your future husband meets you, your future wife meets you, that you will be the thing they thought they could never find, because your mosaic will be different than anyone else. And you don't want to tamper with it. And when somebody comes up and is like, oh, I don't like that little part, you need to fix that. That's a little too much. No, 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 no. You need to go find a different one. I'm not the one for you. You want the person that's like, wow, I never thought I'd find this. And I'm going to just keep encouraging you. Don't change who you are. In fact, what I encourage you to do is keep finding more of yourself, keep going on the adventure, and challenge all those beliefs that you have, that other people have put in your mind. Maybe there's a you that hasn't really been discovered yet, right? There's the you that doesn't know that you're good at painting or writing or singing or an instrument, or maybe you can learn a language, or there are things that you have yet to discover about yourself that are going to be the very things that you have in common with the love of your life. So I just want you to feel encouraged. You are never too much, and you are never not enough. You're going to be just perfect for the right person. And isn't it a tragic thing to watch a girl like Marissa question herself for 1 second because a guy like Ramses is like, I don't know, you might be too much for me. It's like, bye-bye, Ramses. You know what? Your pants are too much for me. You know what I mean? Like, you're too much. How about your outfit has more personality than your facial? It's like he has no personality, and then his clothes are like the loudest thing in the room. It's like there's not enough there for me, right? So it's like, he these guys that act like they need all these things, they really also are underdeveloped, and their lack of interest, and they're bored with themselves. Essentially, they are so bored that they look for the woman to constantly make them feel better, give them the gumballs, and then when she was sick, she couldn't give him the gumballs, she couldn't make him feel better anymore. So he was so reliant on his steady supply, sugar high supply, anyway, something like that. But he got reliant on that. And then when she was sick, he was like, oh, I don't know, something's wrong. Right. Because he can't sustain himself. He's dependent on her. So attention seeking can look low key like Ramses, or it can look um, like Tyler, where it's very understated and he looks good on the outside, but in reality, you're being manipulated the whole way through. Or it can look like Steven, where he's just the super nice guy and, all the charm and everything up front. It has many different looks, but it's all the same transaction happening over and over again. So that's what it became for Marissa and Ramses. It became transactional. He was putting in the quarter and she said, I'm sorry, I can't give you the gumball. I don't feel good. And then he's like, I don't know about this whole relationship then. And that's why they change on a dime. You stop the sugar high, they leave. But when you're with a good guy, there is no need for the sugar high. They don't want it. There's a visual. I actually have it. I would have to dig around for it back there, but there's a gumball machine that's full of diamonds and gems and rubies. So if you put a quarter in and twisted, nothing would come out because they're not in the shape of a ball. It's all these big gems. And I thought it was in a magazine one time and I cut it out and I thought that's the opposite, right? It's like a guy that sees, if the gumball machine represented a person, it would be like the person that wanted that whole machine. And he knew he would never be able to do one transaction. He would just own the whole thing because it was full of gems and full of value and treasure. You are someone to be treasured. And so if you're not treated that way, if they're just putting in a quarter to get another sugar high for their need in the moment, they're not putting their value in the right place. They're not saying, I'm making an investment in this whole person. This whole person has so much value. Just being with her is enough. Just being together is enough. There is no need that a sugar high should ever have to be a part of the way you communicate. Gumball love is not a love language. It's a sugar high language. And once you learn this language and you understand how it works, you will be on dates with guys, you will be having conversations, and you'll be like, you put in a quarter, I'm not giving the gumball. And what happens is when you know how this works, you're with a guy like Ramses and you'll start to see that moody attitude much sooner. I have done this on first dates where I can see the hints of gumballs and then I don't act impressed when they're trying to show off. I change the subject and then I watch them get discouraged because if they don't get fed in the right way, they lose interest. And that would tell me, oh, he was on a date for his ego to get stroked and he wanted the sugar highs of attention. He wasn't actually trying to get to know me. And he would literally turn me off right in that date and I would just move on. And I moved on and moved on and moved on. And then when my husband came into my life, I was ready. I wasn't stuck in some relationship that wasn't really right, but I was confused. I don't know. I was available and I was ready because I didn't continue to waste time on the wrong guys. Spend less time on the wrong guys. You'll be ready for the right guy. It is that simple. All right. So I'm going to end here. I'm going to do more analysis on the reunion and I have more to come. So the next video will likely be me doing an interview in this shirt. Do you think I look like a referee? I was going to wear this. Where was I going to wear this? I was going to wear it to a football game. And then I was like, no, because it'll be like, I could do all the calls. And so like the jury is out. What do you guys think? I mean, it has like, ruffly sleeves but like every time I put it on, I'm just like referee, but I decided I'll wear it. And, because I have so many things in my closet, but none of them are cool. Like my sister's always like, why are you always in this situation? Why do you have nothing to wear all the time? Like, I don't know. I'm just not a shopper. And then when I do shop, I get a bunch of stuff and I feel like, oh, I should be good for a while. It's like, no, you have to shop all the time, just every couple of weeks or, every month, get a few new things to refresh your wardrobe. But no, athleisure has ruined me. And so I have 6 shirts that I wear. So you might see some repeats and I'm going to work on that. So this is probably the last time you'll see the referee shirt. All right, you guys, I will be here. I'm going to keep doing this analysis. I know I'm late to the game, but I'm also just kind of practicing my YouTube skills, getting kind of familiar and comfortable on this platform, getting comfortable sharing my concept and method here on YouTube, because I've done this on Instagram and Facebook and private Facebook groups and client groups and group coaching. I've done this in every which way, but I have never done this on YouTube. There's a lot of videos on here when I did Periscope. They're in a different folder here on my channels. If you want to go back and look at how this all began, I'll cringe if I know you're watching, but there's still some good stuff in there. But I really want to thank you for your patience, for sticking with me. Don't forget to take that quiz. I am dying to know your results. So right now I'm doing free quiz analysis. You can book a 30-minute call with me and we'll go through your quiz together. So don't get weird on me. Don't think I'm going to, that I'm intimidating. Some people are like, I'm a little starstruck. If you've known me for a while, I'm not a celebrity. I'm a coach. I'm a girl. I want to help you, but I'm also I am a research nerd. And when I put this quiz out into the world, this is the first time that I've had this quiz out there with just people taking it without being a coaching client. And so I haven't been giving this quiz to people without being there to walk them through it. And I want to just be there for the first, I don't know, I'd like to maybe do 100 to make sure that everybody's good and that the follow-up that we send is going to answer the right questions. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. So as for me helping you, the way you can help me is say, hey, you know what, Melissa, when I took this quiz, here's the first thing I thought. And in this part, I wasn't sure, or I have questions, or you know what, I took the took the quiz and I thought the result was a little weaker. He was maybe not as nice of a guy as your quiz is get letting on, or maybe it sounds like he was meaner than he was. I don't know. Like, that's what I want to hear from you to make sure that this resonates, and because we can tweak some of those details still. And so I just want to make sure you're okay and that you're not sitting there feeling weird about those results, because you booking a call with me and us just having a quick conversation will help us eventually, where I won't have time to be there for everybody, but your feedback will help those next people, and it will give us the right information. So we know, the right follow-up emails and all the frequently asked questions. We're going to be able to provide better material for everybody. So, all right, I'll leave you there. Go take the quiz. Do it now. If you have 10 to 15 minutes, that's about how long it'll take you. So do it at a time you can focus, where you're not interrupted, and don't forget to book your call with me, and we'll talk soon. All right. I look forward to meeting you, hopefully. And I'll do a part 2 to this, to the finale, I always want to call it the finale, to the reunion. All right. So I'll see you soon.